President. Who president? We're president. No, no president.
Just Wago is making president here? Just Corvis.
Hey everybody. Today we watched this movie that's really rad and amazing.
Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time. It gets better with every single subsequent watching, I swear.
Yes.
Give it a chance. Struggle through it the first time. You'll love it more and more each time. It's like I would put that on like the same level as like a Wes Anderson film.
Yes.
Where it's like, you know, you watch it, it's like, well, it's not like the last one. I like the last one a lot. But then you remember, well, I didn't like the last one the first time I saw it. And then I watched it a few more times. It's like, shit, I love it. And you discover more and more each little things, more little details every single time you watch this amazing film. It's glorious. It's absolutely brilliant.
I love it.
So what movie are we talking about?
America 3000.
3000. Wah, 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 wah. Woo!
Meet Corvis. He's a scholar. He's a spy. He's a man who falls back into the 20th century and lands the most important job in America.
Mr. President. Mr. President?
The president!
Me for president.
Meet Vina, the virginal queen of the Thunder Warriors. It is up to Corvis and Vina to bring a little civilization back into the world.
What's it, man?
Theo.
Oh my God. How could anybody not like this movie?
You know,
If you don't like this movie, you can write your little stupid comments and you will start a flame war and you will not win. You will not be victorious. And you're going to make yourself really upset because
last video we actually got a comment. Yeah.
Comment. Keep making good content. Yeah, we're doing that right now. You don't need to tell me what to do. I'm doing it.
But that's the guy. So thanks, guy, for
Thanks, guy. So, America 3000.
Yeah.
This is from one of the greatest film studios of all time. When you see their logo pop up on screen, you know that you are in for a masterpiece.
Yes.
Talking, of course, about Canon Films.
Yes.
Are they debunked?
They made the Apple.
The Apple.
To the big.
That's not my favorite film. This is my favorite film. But, you know, the Apple has its merits.
It has lots of merits.
Appreciate it. After we see that this film was made by the greatest film studio of all time, Canon Films, we get to see this amazing introduction where these people are just sort of like walking around through like fields, just like all these little boy toy slaves, these Amazonian women. And of course they are playing, you know, heavy metal music in the background. Of course, it's 1986.
I know, it's rock music, you know, let's get everybody's attention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's 3,000 years after basically Russia and America nuked the world.
No. It was 900 years. This is the year 3000.
Oh.
So they said the big nuke in the title that you can't really read because it's like a really bad yellow font on like a desert background.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to read. But I think they said it was 900 years after the big nuke. Because I guess that happens in like the year 2100 or something. This is 3000.
I thought it was like the 1980s it started. Because the music at the bunker is 1980s.
Yeah, but it's the future because they have laser rifles.
So you telling me in 2020, Shmuel, there is a guy with an old boombox in an 80s tape in a bunker.
Of course.
Okay.
Why wouldn't he?
It's the distant future. You know.
The distant future. America 3000.
America and Russia have nuked each other, and hence the world.
The Merkins and the Ruskies.
Merkins, and isn't the commies?
The commies. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. The commies and the Merkins have destroyed the world.
Yes.
And so there were lots of like mutant people, you know, kind of roaming the world. And then they started, you know, random mutation back to being normal. And then I think that was like kind of like a thing where they're like, hey, you know, we actually do kind of have like normal people have evolved from mutant people, and then we have to protect our like genes or whatever. And this is how like the female society forms.
Yeah.
And then so they like, you know, because women, they're all like blah blah blah, sorority, cheerleading, yada yada yada. We gotta be mean girls and fight in middle school, blah blah blah. And so they're like, we just need the men for like their seed.
Yes.
And manual labor.
Well, lots of the lines in this movie is written in this language where it's just like words they don't know why what they meant in the first place, and they kind of use them like kids would if they're never taught the real meaning of things.
Yeah, it's like they're repeating kind of what they hear. So like instead of saying like I swear, they say solemn swear.
And it's like, oh,
or like
for you. It's like I was scanning for you. Let's see, scan up the plugot. I don't know where plugot comes from, but it's like a man. Something is hot or high. That's good.
Yeah, hot plastic.
Hot plastic. Yeah, plastic is hot is bad, right? It's like fake.
No, plastic's good.
Oh, okay.
It's like a credit card. Hot plastic. Yeah, but then bad is like cold, because cold means death. When you die, your body gets cold. And so like, yeah, you hear some characters say, oh, I was worried that you were cold, as in like dead. Or they'll say like, that's cold, and they're like, that means like it's bad.
Shelt is a shelter.
Yeah, and then Wagos is crazy. Fraus is women, but that's like a slang. It's like a slander. So that's what the guys would call them. But women were like, no, I'm a woman.
And they're like, I'm a man. No, you're a plugot.
I'm a man. I'm man. I love that scene.
I'm a man.
And they said those are the regs. Like those are the rules. Like regulations. Like we only know.
Exactly. It's great. It's like a whole language. It's freaking perfect.
But yeah, it starts off with the Fraus are walking the Plugats into their camp. They're like, all right, we got these Plugats. Now some are going to be workers. They're called machos because they're just working. And we need for cedars. A cedar is someone who has sex with a Frau, make more Fraus. And if it's a man who's born, they just throw the baby away.
They just chuck them out. Like last week's pork chops or something. I don't know. He had like some kind of pun. But yeah, it's like they're back in the Stone Age. I mean, they all have like horses and like, you know, crossbows and stuff. They have like this crappy gate that's only like 6 feet high that you could just like climb over. So like their fortress isn't really like that protected.
Almost like they found
I
feel like they found it like that. And like, oh, this is what we got.
Oh, totally. It was probably like a farm or a corral or something.
Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, you know, it's like basically just already like here, we'll move in and make our little settlement. And they clearly, you know, they didn't respect the men. The men are like stupid.
Yeah.
Because they kind of are.
Yeah.
You know, even like the smartest guys are basically just like frat boys.
Yeah.
And then like the stupid ones are just completely feral. They're running around with like beards and like they're just dirty and they don't even speak. They just kind of bark at each other and throw giant boulders.
And women have developed makeup and hair dye. So like they still, it's like a physical, they try to look good.
Totally.
The men are just on pure survival.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, you know, women aren't struggling as much because they have slavery.
Yeah. But they go through and
so,
put off their like loincloths and like check out their penises, like who has the big penis. Oh, this can be this is macho, he's strong, whatever. And
so our hero, you know, the adult played by Chuck Wagner, you know, Auto Man, classic series. Corvis, our hero. He gets his little dinker flopped out and they're all like, oh. And then, you know, the young lady princess chick is like,
Was that
all excited about it?
Big hair lady from later?
Yes.
Yes.
She's the one that was giving him the eye.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, they, you know, he gets his little wiener out and he's like embarrassed or whatever. And he like starts this, like he stages this like escape. And so like a whole bunch of them get out and a bunch of the, you know, the men are getting shot. And then they get out with the horse and then they go into like the forbidden zone where like the ladies won't go. I guess it's where like ground zero of like some nuke went off, and so they just don't go there. There's like styrofoam skulls everywhere. But yeah, so like our hero and the narrator escape, and they find like their things. So like Corvis's thing is his ABC book where he learns to read. And I'm like, how the hell does he do that? Because it's literally just a book. He doesn't have anybody that can like teach him this.
Yeah, he doesn't know how it sounds. It's not like there's a sound to it. Like,
yeah,
you know how to. Yeah, like
the way that they get around this is in the book. They have the shape of the mouth. This is the shape your mouth makes when you say these letters. So he's like sounding it out. He's just like, meh.
He learns a lot from like, I don't know, like 26 whatever words. Like, he learns a lot from that, more than he probably should.
Yeah, I mean, but it did take him like half his life to learn man.
Oh yeah.
They show him with the book later, and he's like, man.
Man.
I'm a man.
And then, the fucking asshole narrator.
Yeah.
He's not an asshole, but,
my notes, I always described him as the guy with the book and the guy with the hat.
Yeah, friggin' top hat.
Like,
he's like, well, this is my thing for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like, is the guy with the book, and he's going to be their leader. And then the guy with the hat is, I forgot his name, but like his hat guy, and he gets like Abraham Lincoln type hat, and he sticks with it his whole life. So later on, who he is, because everyone in this movie looks the same.
And they show like the ladies, and they're like, hey, we got all of our stuff, and it's like the queen lady. I don't know what they call her. The tiara.
Yeah.
The tiara is like the leader of like this tribe of like Amazonian women.
That's a frau. They ran everything.
And they get like raided by like the stupid cavemen guys with their dumb hair and their dirt and their rocks. The main tiara chick gets like stabbed by an idiot. And so, they take her back to like the camp, and everybody's like freaking out. And so they bring out like their first aid kit, and they start praying to the Red Cross.
And they give the tiara like,
give her some cough medicine.
Drink. How do they know what it does?
They don't.
And how do they have any left? If that shit is infuriated completely, like, it's like, this is blue, let's give it to her.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but it tastes awful enough that it like snaps her out of her like shock, where she can like look at her daughters and be like, "You're gonna be the tiara, Vina," and then she had to like pass off the tuning fork to one of her daughters.
Yeah, that was a tuning fork. Book guy Corvis tries to get all the men together.
Mm-hmm.
So
he wants to free them from the ladies.
Yeah, so he goes in. I don't think I'm getting too ahead of the story. I think that's where it is. So he goes in and he frees the men that they have enslaved.
Mm-hmm. But this happens during the visit from the Kansas tribe, the ladies.
Yeah, so they're in Denver, right?
Yeah, that's right. The main tribe of the story is in like Denver, and then the other ones are from Kansas or whatever.
And the lady with black hair, she's headed.
Yeah, Lady Jafar.
The Kansas Frauds. Yeah, Lady Jafar. So she comes in, and they have a whole thing, and it's like, oh, well, I'm the new Frau. I'm the new tiara. I don't want to be the new tiara, but I am.
I think that everybody kind of knows that Vina is like smarter than the other one, even though like she doesn't do like a good job of like conveying that. But there are a few times where it's like, okay, you know what? She's got stuff. She just wasn't really groomed for command very well.
Yeah.
But the other chick, Lakella, she's like all ambitious. That's her sister, and she's like, man, I want to be tiara. And this chick that doesn't want to be tiara's tiara. I'm gonna like, everybody's like, you should challenge her, because that's like a thing. You could do like a blood challenge as like the number 2 and like kill the tiara and like take over. But she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But you can tell that she really kind of wants to. The Lady Jafar, she's being a little background manipulator, and her little crony group are like, yeah, like, oh, the stupid men came in and raided the camp. Let's just sit back and enjoy this. Let's just watch.
Yeah.
And then because the Denver people are failing right now, they're going to usurp Vina, and then I'll be there to sort of be like a puppet leader type of thing. I don't know, whatever.
Wow.
There's a lot to this movie. It's not just a bunch of stupid action.
But the voiceover will throw you off right away when you watch it. So you'll go, wait, this sounds stupid. Because it's the most laid back voiceover, like, well, we fought and some people died. You gotta get past that.
Determined to free ourselves from the Frowns, we banded together in the contents. We built our own cone out of pieces of a Newt Mercan's base called Camp Reagan.
So yeah, they have a big party and get really drunk, and they morning they're passed out and hungover. They're out. So the men come in and they climb over their 5-foot wall with ease, and they go in and they take the men out and they take all their food. And this Hats guy's job to set their food stores on fire once they've taken what they needed. He's like, oh, I want to drink some of this like liquor or alcohol out of this big bottle. And he's like, gross. And he wakes up one of the women, and then they have a fight. He throws her into like a table, like she hits her back and like falls over. It's crazy. And then I think Book Guy, he frees Arg the Awful. Now he's like a big stupid Chewbacca.
Yeah, like the dumb men slave, they like warned him, like, don't go in there, and he's like, I'm not leaving any men behind. And he didn't realize that it was a stupid mutant guy. Gross.
The Kansas leader is like, hey, Kansas leader is like, oh, well, we need to go after those men, because you need to do it because you're the Tiara now. And so Tiara and her sister go out.
Yeah.
And
Corvis is like, hey, I'm gonna divert them from following us.
So he's on this cliff, and they're across the cliff, like over this gap with these crossbows. And they're just like, all right, Tiara, you got to kill that guy. He's right there. He's the guy who did all this stuff. Well, no, I can't do it. And see arrow go into his chest, and he falls off. And then they cut back, and Tiara's arrow is still in her crossbow, but her sister's isn't. So her sister shot the guy.
Yeah.
And he falls off the cliff through some shit and lands like a funnel thing. And at first I thought, what an awful effect. There's obviously some rectangle in his chest where the arrow hit from earlier in the shot. But turns out the book he had, his ABC book saved him. And he says,
and the narrator helps us. Yeah.
No respect for the written word.
Then, Corvis is exploring, and then he finds something amazing.
But he finds a door, and he goes in, and it's like a nuclear bunker. And all the lights turn on, and there's like, and he freaks out at first because like a room with lights in it,
Yeah, he's never seen this before. Like, not even in his dreams. It was like insane. So he like starts screaming. He balls up on the floor, just like hiding. And then he's like, ah, 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 ah.
And there's this. He's still sitting at the controls. That's where he died, apparently.
Yeah.
And there was like an old boombox, like big radio stereo thing with a that he plays, and like rock music comes out, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, I kind of like this stuff. And then he goes,
like in the room there's like those cabinets, and it says arms on them, as in like, it's an armory.
And he looks at his arms, he goes, arms. He's expecting to see arms in there.
Yeah. Instead he finds like a golden, radiation suit, and he like smells it because he's never seen that before.
And he finds like a laser rifle.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And he's attached to the laser rifle is the manual, the user manual, and he's like, oh, a new book. He's like excited about it. And he's like flipping through it, and it's got all these different languages, and he's like, I don't know what this is. You see like Hebrew and German and stuff.
What he did, though, he sees the picture of the guy I hold it like this, like the man in the picture. I hit this button.
Yeah.
And lasers come out, and he's laughing, and he's like, this is the best thing ever. And he shoots the door with the presidential seal, and then he hits the keypad, and the door opens up, And then it's some crazy bedroom where the president would stay. If the world
He's got like his exercise machine and his pinball machines and his TV and his desk.
Yeah.
And his fake view of like a city.
Yeah, he opens up the curtain, like a painting of a city. Like this is what things were like, and when I first saw it the first time, like, what? This is awesome. Like, what? This is amazing.
He finds this remote control and he's like, what's this? And he starts pressing buttons and the TV turns on.
Yeah.
And it was a video message from like one of the, president's, generals. He's like, hey, the Ruskies, they shot missiles at us, but we blew them up, so we won, yada, yada, yada.
Mr. President, I know I can speak for all of us when I say we didn't ask for this war. But God damn, Mr. President, we've won it. Caught the Ruskies with their pants down.
Mr. President, I just want to tell you, we got him and you're a hero. We fucking won, yeah. Like, he said that, but he was just had to inform the president that they blew up the world. But he had, yeah, we blew it up and it's awesome. It's so good.
But the guy's like, Mr. President, and Corvis freaks out. He's like, President, oh, no, where's the president?
Talking to him.
He's like, there's no president, just Corvis. So it's like, it's established that in this world, they are aware of, America, Merkins, and the commies, and the big nuke, and, more or less like why the world or the old world ended.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're familiar with like the term president. So like a president was like the leader of the Merkins, sort of like this legendary, deity or whatever, like a spirit or something. But in the meantime, the ladies are kind of being bitchy. And so Vena's like, you know what? I need some alone time. You bitches go, get out of here. I need to go and do something. And it was like her mother, the former, Tiara, was like, hey, go over to this place. There's like stuff here. And so she goes in there and it's basically like explosives. She calls them like thunder rocks.
Yeah.
But then in the meantime, Corvis at the Prezzi's bunker has found grenades. So they basically both found new weapons for their, war against each other.
Which sets them up so it's
like, oh, we got secret weapons.
Found something new.
Yeah.
Smart way to do it. Instead of like, oh, we found these grenades and they still have sticks and stuff. It's going to be a massacre. It's like, no, they have their own surprises. So
I can't say that enough. Seriously, it's my favorite movie of all time. But then, after that, we flash back to like Vena showing back up at their little camp, and the other tribe leaders are like waiting and they're getting all pissed off. They're like, don't make us wait like men or whatever, machos. We're better than this. And she's like strutting around like a dude. You should see this lady just like walking and like pounding on herself and just like strutting like all powerful macho shit.
Like,
which is funny because they call the men machos.
Too, like those bad guys from Superman 2.
Yeah, that's it. Superman 2, you're right.
Yeah.
It's just like that. She should have been in that.
So let's see. The president goes to the men's camp.
Yeah.
And they don't know who he is at first. He's like, hey, it's me. Woohoo. Like, oh, it's you. It's Corvis. All right. Yeah. Like, looking, guys, I got all this stuff. Check out this gun. Look at these grenades. I'm not sure what these things do, but you know what? Hey, there's something. And he has a few cases.
Yeah, gifts from the Merkins.
He has like a big American flag. Gifts from the Americans, yeah. And immediately, something's going to happen. And like, they start passing this grenade around like it's a baseball or a football. And I keep throwing it back and forth as Corvis and Hat Guy go into like some kind of shelter, and they start.
Yeah, and they're like talking about their plan to talk to the ladies or whatever, or like convince them to go into like talks for like peace and like freeing all the rest of the men and blah blah blah. And so he's trying to be all like, cool about it, diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
And you see these two jackasses in the background just tossing this grenade back and forth.
And, like, that's why I don't remember what they said. It was like talking. I know, but they're throwing a grenade back.
It's so distracting. It's so distracting.
It pays off. You hear an explosion.
And the other guy goes flying.
Pieces of this guy everywhere.
Yeah.
And then Corvis picks up a shoe.
Yeah. He's like, Trump blew himself up.
This is Trump. Look what Trump did to himself. They say, look what Trump did to himself.
He nuked himself.
Act like men, not like toys! Trump nuked himself with American whips, can it? Trump did this! Neggy spirits, neggy curse! Just Trump screw up!
Like too little too late, that guy looks at an old comic book that was found with the rest of the old shit and has like has an army guy throwing a grenade and it's like, oh. You throw that and explodes. He's like, look everybody, I figured it out. And he takes one and throws it and explodes and like, see?
Yeah.
Throw it and explodes. Isn't that great?
Yeah, he like pulls the pin with his teeth, just like the army guy in the comic book or whatever.
But some movies would just oh, they know how to use those. But this movie says no. How do they know?
Yeah, they wouldn't.
No, they saw it in a comic book. That's something.
And they were scared shitless. Like everybody hid when it happened. And he yells at them. He's like, come back out here.
Can you imagine how they felt? They're throwing this ball around and then it explodes and it kills them. It must be like, what the fuck is wrong with these balls?
But yeah, like they got all excited. You know, Top Hat guy starts like talking up, you know, Chuck Wagner. And he's like, he's the president. He really is the president.
President is giving
And
us new power!
He's like, he is the second coming of the president. Because they're like forcing this one lady to cede, right? And so they're like, hey, let's go in there. We're going to like, you know, kidnap this lady while she's being seated and like basically hold her hostage and start talks.
Which is weird they don't rescue the cedar though, too.
No, they did.
Oh, they did.
They don't show it in the scene, but you see him later.
Yeah, you're right.
She sees him and she gets all excited.
And the act of sex for them is like this terrifying thing.
It's horrible.
Get close to a Plugot must be awful for them. So they actually like the cedar has to have like this hood on, and then she's tied down to the bed and has to do this stuff, and then he'll leave, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna have a thing.
Yeah.
But pull his hood off, and she's like, oh, this guy's not bad looking whatsoever.
Yeah, he had guy liner on and everything. It was great though. I thought it was so funny because like it wasn't just a hood. The guy was wearing a burqa.
Yeah, it was a burqa.
I feel like they were trying to make like a comment or something or a statement about that.
I don't know.
But yeah, like phase 2. So like they've kidnapped the lady. So phase 2 is we go back to the lady camp late at night with fireworks.
And one of the
and play like, you know,
shoots filled with like stuff and meant to explode.
Mm-hmm.
And then he plays the rock music and shoots fireworks, and they just gather like, what is going on? And they see this huge gold figure just standing there. It's like, oh no, and he starts talking, but it's just Corvis saying, you come here if you want so and so back. You come over here, but just the tiara. They want to just talk one-on-one with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they let off a grenade or something, and the whole figure explodes. Like,
and it scares the women are already scared shitless. They're like screaming, they're terrified. There's fireworks, explosions, flashlights shining everywhere, scaring the crap out of them. And this one lady, she jumps out of like the crow's nest and falls to her death because she was so scared.
One lady just faints. The president just spoke to us, then exploded. I need to faint.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's no other way to react to this. I mean, what would you do? What would you do if the Prezi showed up at your house and exploded? I mean, how would you react?
I don't know.
Yeah. So like, you know, Vina is all like, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to him, but then Lady Jafar is like, you better just like kill all those guys. How are you gonna talk to him? He's like a guy. He's a man. You know, you're not gonna talk to a man. It doesn't say like what the Prezi is. But whatever. She's like, I'm gonna go. And so she shows up, and then, you Prezi says what the Prezi says, Prezi does. Solemn swear.
Solemn
He
swear.
releases the lady.
And like, now you got to come with me. I got to show you something.
Yeah.
But
in the meantime, Lady Jafar is being a C-word.
Yes.
And she has riled up all the women at the Denver camp, and they stage an attack on the men while both of the leaders are in talks, i.e. banging.
Prezi leads Big Hair to the bunker and says, these are my games. And
and of course he's spinning a globe.
Yeah.
Just one of my many games. And it's like, that's more commentary, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, she's like, all right, well, this is crazy. I don't give a shit about games, though. And then she showed her the painting of like a city that's behind the curtain.
And she's like, whoa.
This is amazing. They talk about like, I'm a man and you're a woman, and like we should talk and do some more things, and then start touching each other.
Yeah.
I mean, to get that close to a Plugot, and that must be like, unheard of. And you don't do that kind of thing. And so,
bringing Plugots.
So they say, all right, we're gonna talk with our people. We'll make peace. It's gonna be great, all right? Yeah. Cool. And then it cuts to her like, they have this fight, this huge battle. Oh my god, this huge battle. Yeah, horses, stunts, explosions. So the ladies are charging in on like the guys' crappy camp in like the Forbidden Zone, and but yeah, who's the first one to bite it though? Lady Jafar. Yeah.
She gets hit by a grenade, gets thrown off of her horse, and then she gets trampled by the rest of the women.
Yeah.
So she's out.
That was surprising.
And then, the rest of it, the battle is just like, people exchanging, killing each other. I mean, there's people explosions happening next to horses, galloping at full speed. And there's like ladies on these horses, like rolling off.
At one point, one woman, she dies and like falls on a grenade and explodes and see her body fly in the air. It's crazy.
It's amazing. So many wonderful deaths and stunts and horses and practical explosions. I mean, I don't think that there was one CG explosion in this whole film. So yeah, the battle, takes its course. The ladies are all like, hurt, like in the background here. And they're going back to their camp. The men are all kind of like in disarray, feeling like crap. They're like, where are our leaders? Blah, blah, blah. This sucks. And, Corvis comes back and he's like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, while you were talking, the ladies were nuking.
While you were talking, fellas were nuking.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was tricked. And he's pissed.
Yeah.
And so he runs over to the lady camp. And then, Vina's all like, man, this sucks.
And then this is near the end where I think all the men show up to the women's camp. And they're like, you cheated me. You lied. And it's like, she goes, I won't stop you. You can kill me. And
all the ladies run up behind her too. So it's like the two leaders are kind of staring each other down. Like, what are you going to do next? And the guys are all like ready to go. The ladies are ready to go again, pissed off.
It's going to fight forever and ever and ever.
Yeah. But then they decide, you know what? Fuck it. And so they start like shooting their arrows into the ground, in a pile in front of each other, and like chucking all their guns over there, their booby shields, and giving each other the eye.
Two leaders start kissing and touching each other. Everyone's like, this is not an option that I've thought about before.
We didn't know what Vina and Corvis were doing. The harder we scanned, the hotter it looked.
Like, we don't need you anymore. We don't need we don't need you, narrator man. Really, the rest of the movie is like a long shot of lots of weapons being thrown on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends, I think, in an amazing way. It pans up,
Mm-hmm.
Arg the Awful, holding the radio, playing rock music, and like
Jumps in the air and freeze frame.
freeze frame in the air, credits roll. It's like, wow.
Mm.
But think about all the different like characters we talked about, all the different like mini plot lines that were in there that weren't like just like discarded, but they actually used right. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, every single scene in the movie was like relevant. There was no like filler.
Yeah.
In fact, it almost felt like they could have padded it a little bit more.
I think
But they didn't. You know, it's canon. They're very efficient. This is my favorite movie of all time. I challenge any of you to find a better film, or to tell me I'm wrong about how amazing this movie is. Go watch it. Order it on Amazon. You'll get this movie plus 3 free movies. That's what I did. It's perfect.